Hey there, I'm Eliza.
And I'm Dave.
And we're with Ancestral Evolution. And today we're going to be making some jerky, in particular beef jerky.
Yes, and we're going to make two types, a salted type and a flavored, quote-unquote type. Southwestern, I believe.
Yeah, I
So
think it'll be pretty good.
Yeah, what are we going to put in it?
So first, the salted one is for all those of you out there who are purists and just want plain and simple, just meat and salt, and that's it. And the other one, we're gonna get a little fancy on you, so.
Yeah, but fancy is good, because that way it's more exciting. All right, so we're gonna make Southwestern jerky. What are we gonna need for that?
So first, you're going to need some beef. So the cut that you use for this is important. You're gonna want something that's lean. Ideally, something that is either from the round, which is from the rear of the cow, or sirloin. And today, what we have is an eye of round.
Yeah, and generally you want the less fat, the better, correct?
Yeah.
Just like with pemmican.
Yeah, for jerky, you want as little fat in the meat as you can, because you don't want your fat dehydrated, because that's kind of gross.
Yeah, so you could use a tenderloin, but that would be really expensive jerky.
It would be.
But you could do it.
It'd probably be really
It'd probably
good,
be delicious, actually. It'd probably be
I would
super gourmet jerky.
I would eat
might have to do
tenderloin
that.
jerky.
Yeah, we should maybe do that at some point.
If we
But
can
anyway,
find
today
it.
we're going to use, what, eye of round?
Yes.
Yeah, which is way less expensive, but works great for jerky. And most jerky you buy, like real jerky, not the, Slim Jims, but actual real jerky, is made with eye around or something close to that.
Yeah, or sometimes it's like top round or bottom round.
Yeah, but it's all that same area.
Yeah. Eye of round is just one muscle, kind of in the rump of the cow.
Yeah.
So we'll take that out of the freezer in just a minute. But so first and foremost, you're gonna need some meat. You're gonna need a sharp knife. Make sure you sharpen it beforehand. A sharp knife is gonna make your life a lot easier. You're gonna need a cutting board. You're gonna need, at minimum, some salt. I recommend using sea salt or Himalayan salt or some other good salt that you want to use. And then you're gonna need a dehydrator or an oven.
Mm-hmm.
Dehydrator is nicer just because you can control the temperature a little bit better, and you have more flexibility in terms of the lower end of the temperatures. Whereas the oven, most ovens have a keep warm setting that is about, what, 150, 170 usually.
Yeah, something like that.
So you can set it on there, or you can set it on there and crack the door a little bit with a spoon or something, but you're still not gonna have as much control as
and it's inefficient,
dehydrator.
and dehydrator is just much better
Yeah.
in every way.
If you have a dehydrator, great. If you don't have one, you should get one.
Yeah, and as far as the beef too, we put it in about 30 minutes in the freezer before we slice it, because it makes it much easier to slice.
Yes. So we have our eye of round in the freezer right now. I'm about to pull it out. We've had it in there for about an hour. Aim for like 30 minutes to an hour, and that just helps it firm up so you can actually slice it. When you're slicing the meat, you want as thin slices as you can do. It helps a lot if it's frozen beforehand.
Yeah, but I guess the really pro move would be to get your butcher to do some super thin slices on his awesome butcher slicing machine, which
that
can do
would
it
have been
like
the pro move.
paper thin.
I even thought
or
about
however thin you want.
Yeah.
How thin do you? Do you want as thin as?
Yeah, really as
like,
thin as you can
I mean,
get.
that butcher one, they can get it super thin.
Yeah, like a meat
see-through.
slicer?
Yeah, meat slicer. Yeah, you can get like.
Probably if you can get like what, 1/8 of an inch or something like that. Next time, we'll try that next time.
Yeah.
For today, we're doing it the old-fashioned style, manually with a knife.
Yeah.
So.
But again, yeah. So freezer maybe about a half hour before. Obviously, you don't want to pull it out of the freezer where it's been there overnight frozen, but you want it cold, but not actually frozen, just like really,
yeah,
really
you don't
cold.
want it like full-on frozen.
Yeah.
Because then you're gonna need something more than a knife.
Yeah. So.
You might need a chainsaw.
Yeah. So let it, be completely thawed out. Throw it in the freezer about a half hour right before you slice it. That's about it.
Yeah, and then for our Southwest, you are gonna need some spices. Some spicy spices, and we'll go through all of those in just a moment. But the other thing I was going to mention is that today we are going for keto jerky, so we are not adding any sweeteners or any sugar to our jerky. So this is just straight up.
Yeah, most jerky
savory.
has brown sugar, like traditional jerky recipes if you look them up, or some kind of sugar or sweetener in there.
Honey.
Yeah, honey
Some
sometimes.
like maple syrup.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the ones I saw were brown sugar.
Yeah, that's
which
probably
just
the
sounds
majority.
delicious, but
Yeah, and I'm sure it is.
not so good for you.
But we're not doing that. We're keeping it real.
Keeping it real. Keeping it keto.
Yeah.
All right, let's pull our meat out of the freezer and take a look. All right, so here is our eye of round roast. And if you notice, our eye of round has a little bit of fat cap, and you'll see that typically on your eye of round cuts. And so I want to cut that off first and foremost, because we want as little fat in this jerky as we can. Now the eye of round is one muscle, which is nice for jerky. So you can decide whether you want to cut it with the grain, and that's going to give you a very chewy jerky, or you can cut it against the grain, and that's going to give you a tender, more melt in your mouth jerky. And I think we should go for melt in your mouth. So I'm just going to slice this as thin as I can. Like I said, this has been in the freezer for about an hour now, and it definitely is more firm, but as you can see, it's not like fully frozen. I'm going to cut this as thin as I can. There is some marbling in here. That's okay. This is about 2.5 pounds of meat, by the way. And when you dehydrate meat, you're going to get about 1/3 of your beginning weight. So 2.5 pounds, we're going to end up with just under 1 pound, probably, of jerky when all is said and done. That's not too shabby. So after I've cut all of this, I'm going to divide it in half. So we have our salt only pile and our Southwest pile. All right, so we've got our meat all sliced, and now it's time to make our marinade. So I've got a couple of different things here. We've got some Worcestershire sauce. We've got some lime juice, some liquid smoke, and then for our dry ingredients, of course, salt and pepper. We've got some garlic powder, some dried mustard, some smoked paprika, and some cayenne pepper for a little kick. So I'm just going to start with some lime juice, and if you have fresh lime juice, great. About 1/4 of a cup of lime juice. 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. A couple of generous sprinkles of liquid smoke. Right, now for our dried ingredients. We're going to do a teaspoon of dried garlic powder, a teaspoon of ground mustard, a teaspoon of smoked paprika, teaspoon and a half of salt, a generous sprinkle of cayenne, and some fresh black pepper. You can mix this all up with like a whisk or a fork or something like that. So now you're gonna lay your meat in there and kind of cover both sides. So I'm gonna go stick these in the fridge, and while they are marinating, we are going to turn our attention to our salt jerky. So here's the other half of our meat, and I'm just gonna take my dehydrator tray here and just spread out all the pieces. And after you've laid them out, we're just gonna give them a very generous sprinkle with salt all over here. Okie dokie. I'm just gonna stick this tray in my dehydrator, and I'm gonna set my dehydrator to 155 degrees. If you choose a temperature that's less than that, do so at your own risk. And these are gonna take probably about 12 to 24 hours to fully dry. We're gonna check them kind of as they go and make sure that they are fully dry. And when our Southwest jerky is done marinating, we're gonna stick them in our dehydrator too. So our jerky is dry. It actually got dry pretty quickly. It was about 12 hours and it was completely dry. So we're about to taste it and see how it is.
Yum. I'm looking forward to it. I love jerky.
If you like this video, be sure to subscribe down below. We've got a couple other jerky recipes coming up, and we're also going to be trying to make some liverwurst.
Liver.
Your favorite.
Yay.
So we'll see how that goes.
I don't like liver.
All right.
Okay.
Jerky, on the other hand.
Yes, I love jerky. It's the best. If it's homemade and if it's like legit, not some Slim Jim stuff that is terrible. But like real beef jerky, if you've ever had real beef jerky that was properly cured and not overly, some people do it, but they put too much sugar in it.
Yeah.
And I mean,
sugar.
it's one thing to put a little bit. I'm good with some. Put a little brown sugar, put a little maple syrup, maybe some honey, but don't like make it sweet.
Yeah.
Like where it's like,
it's not a dessert.
as you're chewing it, it's like, yeah, it's almost dessert-like. I mean,
like
I've had that so many
candied
times.
beef.
Yeah, it's just, this is not.
Yeah.
It's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a savory beef.
Yeah.
Experience.
So hopefully, we will have created just such an experience.
Yes.
Here. Let's try it. So, if you remember, we made 2 batches. We made one with just salt. So this top tray is the one with just salt. And as you can see, this is pretty, if you crack this, it kind of breaks apart. And that's what you're looking for to make sure it's fully dry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is great.
That's really good.
Simplistically great.
Mm-hmm.
I just like.
And cutting against the grain makes it very, very tender and very eatable, even though it's fully dry.
Really important, just like if you watch cooking shows and they talk about, the proper way to cut roast or steaks or whatever it is, it's always usually against the grain on just about everything, right? I can't really think of anything where they would say cut with the grain.
Well, I think some people like to cut with the grain for jerky.
Why?
If you want to chew it for a day.
Why? Yeah, I guess if you like your jerky,
if you really like to chew.
Like chewing tobacco, sort of a hybrid of chewing tobacco and jerky. And you just want to have it pinched between your cheek and gum for that real jerky flavor.
That would be an interesting flavor suggestion. Tobacco flavored jerky. No, I don't know about that.
That sounds gross, but I mean just even regular. Yeah, cut it against the grain. That's clearly the way to go.
Yeah. All right, you ready? Let's try our next batch here.
That's what I'm really looking forward to.
All right, so here's the stuff that we marinated for about, it was like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna taste this. Good stuff.
Yeah, it's actually crispier than the other one. It's a little drier and crispier tasting than that one. And the
I
other
wonder if it's because of the acid, because it was in the lime juice.
I bet so. Yeah.
But the lime juice really comes through. I really like the acidity of that. And you also get the smokiness of the paprika and the liquid smoke. And just a hint of the cayenne. Although I think I might use more in the future.
Maybe a hair more, but boy, that is delicious. And it's actually really good. God, I could eat tons of this.
Great keto snack. Not that you should be snacking on keto. Dr. Berg would come after us. If you eat snacks, these are great beef snacks to make.
Yeah, also if you're traveling, going on the road, this is really just a perfect thing to take because it's like everything you want without having to stop and get some terrible fast food or gas station food or versus this.
Yeah. So you should try it and you should try making it. Let us know how it goes. Tell us if you like it. If you don't like it, have any suggestions for us? We're game.
Slightly more cayenne.
More cayenne.
But I like it spicy.
Yeah.
But if you don't like it spicy, don't. That's no.
Yeah. But yeah, let us know what you think and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.